Well, welcome back. Season 2 of Seamus Has Diabetes. I took a quick break after 25 episodes, and now we're back for season 2. And excited, got a whole bunch of ideas, and hopefully you will find something in one of these podcasts that's going to help you out with your type 2 diabetes, or if you're pre-diabetic, or if you have type 1 diabetes. There's some good information here too. But basically, I'm Seamus. I reversed my diabetes, and this is just kind of a podcast about how I did it and what I learned along the way. I do a lot of research. I do. Um, all right, so let's talk about today's episode, which is 6 books that every type 2 diabetic should read and listen to, and why. All right. Now, I will make a couple suggestions here if you're going to be doing research like I've done for type 2 diabetes. I found out something. One, reading a book is slow, but you absorb a lot of information. Listening to an audio version is faster, still not fast, but you absorb different information. So you learn differently by listening because you have other things going on, right? I still do it while I'm running and walking and stuff like that. And then watching videos related to it. So all the different sources, you'll probably find one that works best for you for learning. But when I'm really in on something, I want all three. I want to read it, I want to listen to it, and I want to watch it because it different perspective on everything. Try it out. But I wanted to go through and see like what are the books that I would suggest, right? And no bias here. I just found the top 6 testing books, 4 of which I've read, 2 of which I have not, but were suggested to me. So we're going to take a look at that. The books are Mastering Diabetes, right? The other one is The End of Diabetes, which is a very good one. I've read that one already. Let's see, Reversing Diabetes, Neil Barnard. This is a good book. The Blood Sugar Solution, that one's funky, but I've read it and listened to the audio version, and it's really good. The First Year Type 2 Diabetes by Gretchen Becker. Never read that one. Looking into it. Definitely you want to do that. And the last one is Think Like a Pancreas. Gary Schreiner, A Practical Guide to Managing Diabetes with Insulin. So this is more for the type 1 diabetics, or if you're a type 2 diabetic, that unfortunately has to be on insulin. So let's dive into these and just kind of some key points and whether or not you should get in on them. Now, Mastering Diabetes, Dr. Cyrus and Robbie. This is the book that helped me reverse my diabetes. So I was already on path to getting to get my A1C in line before I started Mastering Diabetes. But Mastering Diabetes is where I found out what was good for me, what was working for me, and was able to use those systems to reverse my diabetes in a year. And now I don't have any medicine, and I'm doing really good, right? But it's not for everyone, and it's okay. But Mastering Diabetes really focuses on whole food, plant-based, low fat. I know that's not for everyone. It's okay. But this is what they preach on this. Both Cyrus and Robbie are type 1 diabetics. They're on insulin, and they use this so that they don't have to take as much insulin. And their focus, there's really 5 things that they focus on. First is insulin resistance is the root cause. So your body's ability to process carbs, your body's fighting the insulin, making it hard for your body to process those carbs is really a push for them. It challenges conventional wisdom by identifying dietary fat, not carbohydrates, as the primary driver of insulin resistance. They preach low fat. And I'm not talking put some olive oil in because it's good for your heart. There's like low fat, as low as possible. Low-fat, plant-based, whole food, plant-based diet is the most effective way to reverse insulin resistance and improve overall health. That's what worked for me. Once I got my insulin resistance in check by doing this, I could have carbs again, and my body is like, yeah, I know what to do with that, but it's the right carbs, right? Carbs aren't the enemy. Some people believe carbs are the enemy, right? This is the Mastering Diabetes, the whole food carbohydrates like fruits, beans, whole grains can actually enhance insulin sensitivity. And that's what worked for me. I'm not saying it'll work for you, but that is 100% what worked for me. Exercise, of course. Intermittent fasting. Yes, that was one of the last things that I added in. I resisted that. I didn't want to have to restrict when I ate, but now I do. And it was the last step to get me off the last of the medicine. and then monitoring. So tracking blood glucose levels and making data-driven adjustments. I carry a CGM. This is why I wear a CGM, and this is why I take a look at my numbers all the time and see what is working and what isn't. Really good read and listen to. They also have good videos and stuff like that. The End of Diabetes, Dr. Joel Furman. Again, I'm not beating a drum here. I just researched what are the top books focused on a plant-based diet to prevent and reverse diabetes. The big push in this book is that diabetes is preventable and reversible. When you say preventable, that means making good decisions now if you're a pre-diabetic or if you have diabetes in your family. Reversing diabetes is also, it's reversible by making the right choices, right? The book challenges the idea that type 2 diabetes is a lifelong condition. It's not. I don't have type 2 diabetes. I still have insulin resistance, but I am not a type 2 diabetic anymore. And advocating dietary and lifestyle changes to reverse it. What are the suggestions? Nutrient dense, plant-based diet, right? Rich in vegetables, beans, nuts, seeds. So a little bit different than mastering diabetes. It's okay to have nuts. It will improve insulin sensitivity and overall health. Eliminate processed foods and animal products. This is what they're pushing, right? Read the book. They got the research. They're way smarter than we are. Exercise and lifestyle. This one has a big push in stress management, and stress was, my opinion, one of the reasons that I got insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. I'm trying to work on that. Medication is not the only solution. This was one of the ones that really reinforced to me that you can reduce or eliminate your dependence on diabetes medications through proper nutrition and lifestyle changes. And I was like, you know what? I agree with you, man. This was the second. So I got two books immediately when I got type 2 diabetes: Mastering Diabetes, Reversing Diabetes. So Neil Barnard's program for reversing diabetes. He's a doctor. He's super smart. It advocates for a scientifically proven system to reverse diabetes without medication, right? Sometimes the medication, especially for type 2 diabetes, like metformin and things like that, they're just masking the issue. And it's kind of insulting, right? When you get diagnosed with these, they're like, oh, just take these pills and you'll be fine, because we know you're not going to change anything. We know you're not going to actually change your diet or anything like that, right? But the diet is a primary treatment. So when I started using my food as medication, and I really did, I was like, okay, this is what I'm eating, because this is just like taking a pill. He preaches a low-fat, plant-based diet can be more effective than traditional diabetes medications in managing and even reversing type 2 diabetes. None of these people say it's going to be easy, but they do say it's possible. Insulin resistance and fat accumulation, like Mastering Diabetes, the book believes that the fat that is in your cells interferes with insulin's effectiveness, leading to insulin resistance, which is your body's inability to process those carbs. The new 4 food groups, this is a big thing: whole grains, yeah, beans, baby, legumes, vegetables, and fruits should form the foundation of diabetes management and overall health. So those 4 food groups should be pretty much what you're eating. Eliminating harmful foods, animal products, processed foods that can significantly improve insulin sensitivity and reduce diabetes related health risks like heart disease and all that kind of stuff. And then we get to the exercise and stress management. Banging the drum here, right? So as you keep reading these books, you're going to find themes that are similar that keep reoccurring. And when you find those themes that keep reoccurring, you should really pay attention to them. I don't say or would suggest to anybody read one book, read one thing, listen to one podcast and be like, oh, I now have the answer. No, do your research. The next book, The Blood Sugar Solution. This is a weird one, but interesting, but weird. Dr. Mark Hyman, and he does a ton of great work in this, and I've run across his videos, but offers a comprehensive approach to balancing blood sugar and improving overall health. I will warn you that there's a lot of absolutes in this book where just do this, just do this, just do this. I'm right, just do this. Mastering Diabetes gets into that a little bit too, where they spend a lot of time talking about how everyone else is wrong, which I don't really like. I'm like, just give me the parameters and then I'm going to adjust it to fit my needs, and I will. But Uh, this was the first time I'd ever heard this, and I think it's a great name, the diabesity epidemic. I believe that he coined that phrase. But the diabesity epidemic book highlights the alarming rise of diabesity, a term combining diabetes and obesity, and explains how poor diet and lifestyle choices contribute to this growing health crisis. There is no doubt that obesity and diabetes are hand in hand, locked together, and so he calls it diabetes and spends a lot of time on it at the beginning of the book. I've read it and I listened to the audiobook. I would suggest the audiobook if you're only going to do one. Ridiculously interesting, but does a good job with it. Balancing blood sugar and insulin. Mr. Hyman emphasized the importance of stabilizing blood sugar and insulin levels to prevent chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, and dementia. So it really goes into what you're actually doing to yourself when you don't and haven't controlled your diabetes. Whole food, nutrient dense diet. Here's where it gets a little bit different than the other ones. The book suggests very strongly to eliminate sugar, refined carbs, and processed foods while focusing on fiber rich, plant based meals with healthy fats and lean proteins. So, again, it goes back to that type. But if I remember correctly, in the book, it also talks about having some lean proteins, plant based meals, but also animal products, so low fat animal products to make sure. Big push on protein, lots of protein, lean proteins though, which is a little bit different. Um, Comprehensive lifestyle approach. Beyond the book stresses the importance of exercise, stress management, sleep. Sleep is huge for diabetes, and most of us just suck at it. No, I was amazed. I slept for 7 hours and 47 minutes last night, and I feel amazing today. That is not normal. I can do 5, sometimes 4 hours, and it definitely affects me. It also talks about detoxification. A lot of talk about supplements and things like that. Gets very, very specific in it. And I took the overall thing from it. I don't follow his approach 100%. But he also has a 6-week action plan. There's a website you can sign up for and everything. But it's a structured 6-week program, meal plans, recipes, exercise routines. But it was the first one that really kind of let it be okay for animal products, because a lot of what they're pushing, when you start doing your research, and don't let it turn you off, right? But just understand that there's going to be a lot of plant-based stuff, because there's a lot of research saying that a plant-based diet will help you with your diabetes, right? It did for me. It may not for you. It's okay. This book's the next 2 books I have not read, and I plan on it. The First Year, Type 2 Diabetes, great idea for a book. Gretchen Becker, a great guide for those newly diagnosed. So this, I wish that someone would have suggested that I read this one right off the bat. But the key points from it: understanding the diagnosis. The book helps newly diagnosed individuals navigate the initial shock and confusion. And if you're newly diabetic, you are shocked and you're confused for a while, but it has clear explanations what type 2 diabetes is and how it affects the body. I'm going to go back and reread this just because, even though I've done a lot of research on this, I would like to hear this again. Building a strong foundation. She talks about the importance of learning about blood sugar management, medications, lifestyle changes, all that kind of stuff that you go through, diet and nutrition guidance, advice on choosing the right foods, meal planning, understanding how different nutrients impact blood sugar levels. Meal planning's huge. Diabetics don't get to just wing it, right? We really have to have a plan. Like, I already know what I'm going to have for breakfast every day this week. I know what I'm going to have for lunch every day this week. And my wife makes amazing dinners for me. That's the only wild card, is I don't know what I'm having for dinner, but I already know that the chef, my wife, already knows what my restrictions are going to make awesome stuff. And emotional and social support. This is huge, and a lot of people don't have this. But the psychological aspects of living with diabetes, there are a lot. Encourages readers to seek support from healthcare professionals, family, and diabetes communities. There's not a ton out there. If you live in a big city, maybe. For me, there was none. There was a class that you could take once a month, and it was the same class. And I didn't take it. My doctor said, "Don't waste your time. You already are on the road. You're going to waste your time there." So I didn't. But I'd love to have a community. It'd be great. Meet once a month, maybe every 2 weeks, get together and talk about freaking diabetes and how it's It's not great, and I would go to that. Um, and the last one that I found was Think Like a Pancreas. Now, great title. Gary Shiner, I believe is how you pronounce that. Practical Guide to Managing Diabetes with Insulin. So this is more for type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetics, that because you can be put on insulin if you don't control your type 2 diabetes. The 100%, right? If you just don't get it under control, at some point your pancreas is just going to give up and you're going to need to take insulin. But the main points of it: understanding insulin therapy. It's a comprehensive guide to managing diabetes with insulin, explaining basal and bolus insulin strategies. I don't know anything about that because I haven't had to have insulin, and I don't want it. Personalized diabetes management. It's all about tailoring insulin doses based on your needs, lifestyle, activity levels. So when you're taking insulin, you have to take everything into effect. You have to take in, how much did I sleep? You have to take in, what am I going to eat today? What am I going to eat in an hour from now? Not right now, but in an hour from now. Seems like a lot of work. Preventing highs and lows. It has techniques on minimizing hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia, which is highs and lows. Which was very, very important. Leveraging technology, discusses the role of continuous glucose monitors, which I love, CGMs, insulin pumps. Did you know, and if maybe you didn't, but they have these continuous glucose monitors that also work with an insulin pump. So it's keeping your CGM, right, is keeping track of your blood sugar levels, like mine is right now, right? I have it right there. But then it's also talking with your insulin pump, and when you need it, it'll give you the insulin. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Because you used to have to keep track of it, but there's a lot of people. I met a guy the other day that had one, which is really cool. And Empowering Self-Care book encourages readers to take control of their diabetes through education, proactive monitoring, and informed decision making, which is super important. So those are 6 books that, if I were you, I would definitely take a look at, read them, watch some videos associated with them, because they probably have videos too, and the audiobook. I like doing the audiobook because I work out a lot and I'm always listening to either a podcast or a book, but I just have hours of time, and been really good for me. So those are the books. I hope your A1C is down, and I hope you have an awesome day.